Oh, dude, that Sonic movie 2 was so good. I can't believe
know.
it was 2.5 hours long. That's so long for a Sonic movie. And hey, we got everything like 100% right. We didn't even have to see this movie. We were like on the money. It's kind of crazy. We could have just made it ourselves.
We could have just made it up ourselves, and it would have been true.
Yeah, and like we did that, and it was true. So like, props to us. But like,
kinda props to us.
it was pretty cool. I like the part where Chaos was there and he blew up a building. I was kind of waiting for that, like ever since the Sonic Adventure came out, seeing that in a movie.
Yeah, I've always wanted to see that rendered in high quality CG that I knew would be coming in about 20 years.
Yeah, I don't know what you mean by CG though. Like they hired the Chaos, like the actual guy. Like, didn't you know? They have like a really profitable Hollywood career.
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah, they were like celebrity endorsement for Sonic Adventure. It's kind of a big deal.
Oh my god. No, I thought... Huh? Oh my god. I'm sorry, I didn't know about this. I really apologize to all of our listeners. I try to be as well researched for this stuff as possible, but I've somehow managed to miss for the past 22 years that Chaos is a real person with a Hollywood career.
I mean,
in my defense, no one told me.
Yeah, no one told you. Hollywood it's a different sphere from us, like a blue sphere, but like it's not a blue sphere. It's kind of a red sphere.
It's kind of a red sphere.
But
yeah. Honestly, in my experience, it's kind of like a bumper sphere.
I'd say it's kind of like a gold. No, you know what? It's a which is the one that warps you in Mania. It's pink, right? It's a pink sphere.
Pink.
Yeah, it's a pink sphere.
It's like a pink sphere. It's like one of those pink spheres.
Okay.
Hi, I'm Crepe.
Hi, I'm Mitt. Here's my ID, so you know that I could get into this rated R Sonic movie.
I left mine at home. Will this picture of me in a Knuckles the Echidna cosplay at age 8 pass?
Yeah, well, we'll just come back at another time to see the Shadow the Hedgehog movie, so...
I'm just saying, do I look like I'm still 8?
I mean, no, but, they get really annoying about that kind of thing.
Right. Bad for the brand.
Yeah.
The Sonic movie, too, is one thing, but other things happened this year. That's my introduction. That's the subject.
Yeah, we're talking about things that happened this year for Sonic, which is going to pale in comparison to the amount of things that are happening next year, but we learned all about them this year, so...
Yeah, true.
Put that in your pipe and blow bubbles out of it.
Yeah, put that in your pipe and along with 50 rings, and you'll get to go to the special stage.
Yeah. We gotta stop making metaphors and just talk about things.
I know, it's so weird. I'm just trying to hit the ground running, and it's not good. I need to actually. I can't keep doing this. I was about to do another metaphor.
Okay, so here, we'll go down the list. So, for real though, Sonic Movie 2, we literally predicted everything in that trailer. It's not even a joke. Okay?
Everyone who's listening knows this already, but I wanted to point out in voice in the recording that, hey, this is going up on New Year's Eve. That's kind of that's kind of a cool thing that just happened to work out. By
Happy
virtue
New
of
Year's.
us deciding in February of this year we're going to upload on Fridays. This wouldn't have happened if we hadn't made that decision and then later incidentally picked the right week to decide to go every other week in our upload schedule instead of every week.
Yeah.
So we're capitalizing on that. This is a year in review as we transition into the new year.
So 13 hours from when you'll be listening to this, if you're listening when it goes up, which you should be, it'll be Sonic 2022's year.
Yeah. And all the stuff that we're talking about now, except for one thing, 2 things that have already come out this year, will matter in that Sonic 2022's year.
Yeah.
Okay. Sonic 2 movie.
Yeah, Sonic 2 movie. We got everything right. It's not a joke.
It's not a joke.
Yeah, so it turns out we're insiders. Um, I didn't want to say it because can't really break NDA, but like we knew, like we saw everything with we have like really high tech binoculars that let us see what they're writing like on the computers from super far away. It's pretty cool, actually. It's like really advanced off the market tech. You can't find it anywhere else.
Just talking about this is really going to harm our relationship with the Sonic social media account, but like it's so cool. You'll have to know that we have this ability and this. This
and like we're so much bigger than them now. So like, so in the Sonic Movie 2 trailer, we finally saw Knuckles. We saw Idris Elba as Knuckles, and he was pretty good. I'm very excited to see more of him.
I'm very excited to hear more of him.
Yeah, we saw Dr. Eggman as Dr. Eggman.
Right, self-played.
Yeah, he's self-played. Loves getting vaccinated, and he thinks you should too. We saw Tails, heck of a guy. He was just a swell little guy. I liked seeing him. He looked a little different from how he did at the end of the first movie, and it was kind of funny to see the differences. He's a little bit less cuddly looking, which I think is very funny.
It's
and
really
Sonic
funny.
Looks a little better. Sonic looks a little bit better.
Yeah, which like isn't super surprising, but they could have always decided to dial it in the wrong direction for whatever reason.
Yeah. I can personally say, having seen the Sonic Movie 2 trailer in a movie theater, a lot of the issues that I felt like I had from watching the trailer just like on YouTube or Twitter don't really apply as heavily if you're actually sitting down and watching in a theater. And it's one of the things that I think caught me when I was watching the trailer is that it feels like Sonic's teeth are a little more pronounced than they were in the first movie. Like they were kind of trying to lean it back in the direction that they strayed away from with the design that they scrapped.
Right.
But when I was actually watching the trailer and like sitting down in a movie theater and watching it, it really didn't bother me at all. And it was a lot nicer, obviously, to see it in a movie theater on a big screen than on a little YouTube monitor. And like, I'm not the kind of person who would say that you're not getting the film experience by watching on a little thing, but it's definitely harder to get caught up in like the little details like that when you're watching it on such a big screen, which is funny because you wouldn't think that's the case.
Yeah. I have like no issues with the trailer, honestly. The only thing that I could even slightly take issue with is there's still the people, but they're so much less pronounced. Like everything else is way more prominent in the trailer. Tails gets more screen time than any of the humans aside from Eggman. Knuckles gets equal screen time to the humans. Like, it's clear that they're shifting away from that. And we already knew this. We talked about this in the Sonic movie episode when we were talking about the leaked Sonic 2 movie synopsis and stuff. We already knew that there was going to be less of a presence from the human characters, but like, it's so nice to see it. It's so nice to see it happening in real time. The move to it being an actual Sonic the Hedgehog film.
Yeah, and for what it's worth, on the topic of that synopsis leak, there's not really much more information from that leak that wasn't in the trailer that you could already glean.
Yeah, I went back and listened to our episode earlier just to kind of remember what we talked about being in it, and also to make sure that, yes, we did call them leaning towards Sonic Adventure. You mentioned there being an emerald in a synopsis, not specified if it was Chaos or Master Emerald, but like, that's true. We saw it in the trailer. We're seeing bits and pieces of what they're going to be doing with it. It's there, it's real.
And we have confirmation that it is also specifically the Master Emerald, so...
Right, that came directly from the director.
Yeah. So my hypothesis of what the movie is going to be is, I don't want to say they're going to go whole hog Sonic Adventure, but I think they're going to go whole hog Sonic Adventure. It's either gonna be whole hog Sonic Adventure or they do a Death Egg for some reason. And I think with what we saw in the trailer with the whole natural disasters coming from the Master Emerald, it's gonna be Sonic Adventure and there's going to be chaos or something.
Yeah. I almost feel like they're doing things in a really interesting and logical way, like escalation way, where they would adapt the threat of Sonic Adventure to the story of this movie, along with the antagonism of Knuckles from Sonic 3, and then move to something as big as the Death Egg next time if there is a third movie, because that feels like a natural escalation for Eggman's character and the way they're depicting him.
Yeah, I also have my own hypotheses for where the movie is going to go after that, but it's all very reliant on assuming facts about the movie that I haven't seen yet.
True.
I'm going to assume this may or may not also be a Chaos Emerald movie. I don't see why it wouldn't be a Chaos Emerald movie. Like you have the plot is that Knuckles and Eggman have the Master Emerald, and they're using that to power, whatever horrible monster contraption that they're doing to cause evil.
Mm.
And then Sonic and Tails have to find a way to neutralize that, and the only way you can do that is with the Chaos Emeralds, even though that's technically not how it works, but it's whatever, it's fine. Like, they need some way to get enough power to rival that, and I think that's the only way you could really do that, unless it's just, hey, we gotta convince Knuckles that Eggman is a bad guy and we gotta take it back, and that's like the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
But either way, I don't think there's going to be like a surprise like Metal Sonic. I don't really think there's going to be a Death Egg. I do think that if there's going to be anything for the third movie, it's going to be Sonic Adventure 2. And I think they're just going to go straight into that.
Right.
I could see that equally being a Chaos Emerald and Shadow movie. I think that would be like a Death Egg movie, and the Death Egg is the arc. And that's the bit that they're doing. And that's the face level progression, having not seen the movie yet, of what I think they're going to do. I'm not going to bite off more than I can chew with this otherworldly prediction that nobody else could have ever thought of. But yeah, that's what I think they're going to do. And I'm very excited. I like what they're doing.
Yeah. I would like to take this moment to really solidify the Sonic Adventure parallels that they're going for here, just in case anyone missed it, just in case anyone hasn't thought about it for themselves, which I'm sure most people have. But, like, the trailer opens up with Sonic looking down at police cars driving through city streets from a rooftop. There's a shot of manhole covers flying up because of water flooding them. There's Sonic snowboarding down an ice cap. There's a zoom, a kind of like dolly zoom looking shot of what I assume would be like the Emerald Altar that looks a lot like Lost World from Adventure. The part where Sonic's hanging out on the tornado, his tail's flying, and he gets shot off it is like not as direct a parallel to the Sky Chase in Adventure, but it kind of feels like it. So, like, there's all this stuff. It feels really deliberate.
Yeah, it is definitely very deliberate, I think.
There's also the Emerald Hill orchestral arrangement that's in the trailer, which is not Sonic Adventure, but, in case anyone missed that also, because it's kind of stretched out.
Yeah, there's also a shot of Sonic running through a temple, which is like a little bit Labyrinth, but it's also a little bit Lost World because it has the flame pillars coming up, and that's not a Labyrinth Zone thing.
No, Labyrinth Zone is all about those spears.
Yeah, because there's also the ball and chain in that one, and there's like axes flying all over the place, and that kind of like machinery metal trap stuff.
Right, it makes you think
Labyrinth
of like
Zone.
Yeah, it also makes you think of like Pyramid Cave and the like.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm really curious where they're going to be going in the movie and what they're going to find. Like, we're getting all these general shots from the trailer of places they're going to be, but not anything that seems directly related to the outcome of those places, and also very little establishing for what those places actually are. Just a lot of implying shots that we just talked about.
Yeah, it also feels like it's very hard to discern when in the movie any of these shots are from.
Yes.
Because I don't feel like the shot that is implied to be the introduction to Tails is the actual introduction to Tails, because that doesn't make a lot of sense.
I agree. I'm willing to bet, given I think we talked about this off mic at some point, but I'm willing to bet that because of all the setup for Sonic giving people nicknames in the first movie, that exchange between him and Tails for the trailer is just for the trailer, including the visual effects for the lip sync and the like. I'm 100% sure that's fabricated for the trailer.
Mm-hmm.
It's probably not how they meet.
Yeah, it's a little upsetting that like it's not going to follow up on the headcanon that Sonic also named Knuckles, but it's fine.
That one also could be fabricated for the trailer, but that's a much more wishful thought.
Yeah, it's a little harder to say because I don't know. Actually, it could just be fabricated dialogue because
It's just
I'm pretty
hard to
sure.
know.
Yeah, well, I think he's just straight up not on screen when he says
He is
the
not.
name.
I just watched
okay,
it earlier.
So never mind.
So it might be the same sort of thing, but we don't know.
Yeah.
Like, there's a lot to be excited about from this trailer. It's surprising how much there's worth dissecting. Oh, I remember what I was going to say. Yeah, I seriously doubt that the trailer is like very linear in the sequence of events that it depicts.
Yeah.
I would almost even guess, like I would totally believe that Sonic's encounter with Knuckles at the end of the trailer happens a lot earlier than we would think.
Yeah. It's definitely because it's just like someone's backyard. It definitely happens very early on.
I think it's about all I have to say about the Sonic 2 trailer.
Yeah, it's good. It's exciting.
Good. It's exciting.
We're getting a Sonic movie. They spent however much money to make basically a pitch to the real Sonic movie, and we're getting the real Sonic movie. This is the actual, not to discredit the successes of the first movie, but like this is a Sonic movie. They're doing it.
It's cool. It's for all those people out there who believe that the Sonic franchise starts at Sonic the Hedgehog 2 anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Those people are wrong.
Yeah, well, okay, that's actually the funny thing is the fact that they are actually merging Lost World with Labyrinth Zone makes it feel like this movie is going to have elements of Sonic 1 and 2 more than the first one had any elements of Sonic 1, which it had basically zero.
I agree, because all the first one really had going for it was that opening shot of Little Sonic running in Green Hill, and that's it.
Yeah, that's actually a good point, or a good bouncing off point, rather. I wonder how much of this movie is even on planet, like on Earth.
Yes, I was thinking about this too, because that feels like they introduced the concept of Sonic's world being a separate world, dimension, significant location, whatever, from Earth. And like, there's no way they're just gonna drop that.
Yeah.
Not have it just not matter at all.
Because they like certainly the Emerald Altar is not going to be on Earth.
Right. We don't even know when the Emerald comes in right now. Yeah. Like, it could be as early as when Dr. Robotnik comes back in his egg pod and shows up in front of Agent Stone. Is it Agent Stone?
Yeah, it's Agent Stone.
Yeah. Forgot his title for a sec. Like, it could be that early. He could come back with it. We don't know.
Yeah. He has Badniks now.
He has Badniks now. That's right. Yeah, he's doing a lot of his own thing now, which is a huge deal.
Yeah, I'm surprised because one of the shot pictures that we saw forever ago is not him in the typical Eggman suit. It looks a little bit more like what he wears in the first movie, and I remember being a little disappointed seeing that. Like, maybe that's something from the very end of the movie and things change. I don't know. Oops. But like, I'm very excited to see him in the red suit, and he has the goggles and he has the mustache. That's what I wanted to see, so I'm okay.
Like, now that he's actually dolled up for the role, he looks really appropriate.
Mm-hmm.
And we already kind of addressed it, but Knuckles looks really good.
Yeah, Knuckles does look very good. I've been thinking about this the whole time, but I do wish... Okay, well, I have two nitpicks. One is that his gloves are just boxing gloves, and, like, it's cute, but it's a little silly. And the other thing is that I wish instead of having the actual, like, fur crest on his chest, I wish it was a necklace. I very badly wish it was a necklace.
Right. It would be a very interesting look for him, and it would tie him back to the Echidna tribe.
Yeah, I just wish he looked a little bit differentiated from Sonic in a way that felt like it made sense in terms of the lore of what the movie has set up. Because, like, right now, there's justification for Tails looking similar to Sonic. There isn't for Knuckles.
It does make you wonder how they're going to explain Knuckles' relationship to the world in the movie.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, we're definitely gonna get a lot of that. There's gonna be a lot of Echidna stuff.
Yeah, which I'm really excited about. I'm excited for it to actually tie back to the Echidna tribe members that we actually saw in the first movie too.
Yeah, it's so crazy feeling this way about a big piece of Sonic, I guess, media
Yeah,
now. It feels so weird to be serviced in this kind of way.
I agree. It I keep wanting to be like cautious about it, but then I also really just want to sink myself wholly into the excitement I feel. Like I'm really optimistic for how much I'll get out of this movie. It doesn't even have to be that good.
Yeah, it feels legitimately promising. Like, just from what's been set up in the trailer, I don't, unless like the story feels really disjointed, I don't know how they could really screw it up unless just all of the intermediary character dialogue is terrible. And like, it wasn't in the first movie. They've set a good enough precedent that I think it's going to be fine. It feels weird there being an actually promising Sonic product to look forward to,
Yeah.
like without even a reservation, really.
I don't have this reservation, but like I keep thinking about how many people I've seen talk about how disappointed they are with Sonic's characterization from the first movie and how it seems to be continuing into the second just because they don't like the idea of seeing Sonic as a younger as a younger, more less experienced and more mature kind of character. Like it's just so foreign to them. But I don't feel that way. I feel like it's a great take on Sonic to position him this way because it works well with his kind of natural cockiness.
Yeah, there's also part of the setup for this movie, I believe the director talked about it, is that the whole foil of Sonic and Knuckles is that Knuckles is kind of the first threat that he's faced that is like stronger than him. Like Knuckles is stronger than Sonic, period. And that is the core conflict of the movie, is that now Sonic has to deal with not being the strongest person in the room. So it's literally putting his ego in check, and I think there's definitely going to be an arc, especially pertaining to that criticism of the character that people had from the first movie. And I think that the Sonic we see at the start is going to be very different from the Sonic we see at the end.
Yeah, I figured they're going to take that kind of direction.
Yeah, like as soon as I started saying it out loud, I remembered the fact that they literally have a scene like this in the trailer to establish that as being the, the character conflict. So
Oh, true. That's true. I mean, yeah, that is literally the character conflict as outlined by Tom.
yeah, so like there you go.
Yeah, makes sense.
Get hyped.
Get hyped.
I don't like saying that.
Oh,
That's a
okay.
weird thing for me to say.
Get excited. Get riled
Yeah.
up.
True. Get excited. I like that one.
Yeah. It's only 4 months away.
Yeah.
That's not too long.
It's just around the corner.
I'm Nope, I can't. My brain's completely fried. I can't think of any other lines from that to keep the bit going.
Yeah, I'm not as invested as everyone else in our friend circle seems to be with that video to be able to recite anything from that.
Yeah, I just don't have it like internalized. I can kind of do it sometimes. I still don't. It's fine.
Yeah, it's whatever.
So that was one of the two things that was shown at the Game Awards this month that we were recording this and that we're posting this.
Yeah, at the Sonic Awards.
Yeah, at the Sonic Awards where nothing else of interest happened because only Sonic was there.
Yeah.
That was one of two things.
Yeah, and then the other thing was they finally showed us what Sonic 2022 is.
Yeah. Do you know what it's called now? It has like a name, I think.
It's called Sonic Rangers.
Yeah, they called it Sonic Rangers in all of the press release stuff. So that's cool. That's a cool name.
What?
Oh, are we getting something? Hold on.
Yeah, I'm looking at my phone. I just got a text from our agent saying it's not Sonic Rangers. Okay.
What does Agent Stone say it is then?
Well, it's not Agent Stone. It's just our agent. You know.
I thought he was our agent.
No, our agent's Dave.
Oh.
Yeah. It's okay. It doesn't matter. I guess it's Sonic.
Incredibly worthwhile bit I introduced.
I guess it's called Sonic Frontiers instead. That's weird of them. Okay. I guess it's Sonic Frontiers now. It's Sonic Frontiers, everybody.
Oh, so it's not a Power Rangers tie-in?
No.
Oh.
Whatever.
Okay, I'm a little less interested now.
So, it's interesting to talk about this game because, like, when it was first revealed and teased, there was like an interesting kind of breakdown of more information, but this time it was all like official. It was just, it had to be, kind of clawed out of Sega's hands a little bit. So we saw what the worlds look like, or the world, one of them at least.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a big open world Sonic game, and anyone who's ever played a Sonic fan game knows that, that's a good idea.
It's a good idea if you can design well for it, but it is a good idea.
Yeah, it like immediately makes sense. Actually, to touch on that, it's kind of surprising seeing how many people respond to Sonic Frontiers and be like, "What? How does Sonic work in open world?" And it's like, what?
Yeah, I get it. Maybe if you're invested in the fan game scene, you've seen a lot of takes on open or semi-open world Sonic stuff, and you feel kind of like jaded by some of the fan games that are out there because they're like not great. Especially like some of the high-profile ones are a little disappointing in the direction that the devs have taken, like the level design or Sonic's controls. Like, just shove all that aside. Sonic in an open world, like, conceptually is a good idea. It's a great idea.
For me, from my experience, the people don't even start from that point. They're just like, how does Sonic work in open world? They don't even get Sonic to work in 3D right. And it's like, even the boost, you could just plunk boost Sonic in an open world and it'll work.
Yeah, that's so weird.
Yeah. I genuinely can't think of any context in which a 3D Sonic, from any point, like excluding the ones that are on rails, wouldn't work in open world, because the whole point is that you're going fast and you're traversing a lot of ground really fast. And like, even if the open world isn't huge, the appeal is still like, okay, your open world's running up and down walls super fast. Like, imagine Breath of the Wild, but you're always on the motorcycle.
Yeah.
That's Sonic.
That's literally what I put in one of my notes. I just wrote, why wouldn't you want to play a Breath of the Wild where you can move stupid fast?
Yeah.
So the other major opinion I've seen is that some people are just really sick of games that are like Breath of the Wild. And I don't really get that, because all I really know is Breath of the Wild, that one game on PS4 that, I don't know, was that like...
Horizon Zero Dawn.
Am I thinking of Horizon Zero Dawn? Because I think I'm thinking of something more specific than that, even, that like hugely apes Breath of the Wild in terms of like crafting, cooking mechanics.
I wouldn't know past that, but I know Horizon Zero Dawn is like the big Breath of the Wild competitor.
Right. Oh, I know what I'm thinking of, but I still don't know what it is. I know it's not Horizon Zero Dawn. Someone out there might know it, but it's like, it's a really generic kind of game. But there's Breath of the Wild, there's Horizon Zero Dawn, whatever game I'm thinking of, and then Genshin Impact. Like,
yeah.
That's kind of it. Like, it's not that much. Like, yeah, everyone sees Genshin Impact everywhere, and everyone saw Breath of the Wild everywhere, and everyone has seen Horizon Zero Dawn everywhere. I don't know about that third one, but like, that's still only 4 games. I think people are just weird about games that are similar to other games superficially. They're just weird about it.
That's just the gaming culture, is that if a game looks like another game, that's a bad thing.
Yeah. Can't have iterative content based on other people's ideas. Like, it's so bad to try to make your own spin on something that you like to make it even more a thing you like or make it distinct or different. No,
Yeah,
bad.
it's so layered too, because I feel like the next step up from that is noting that it's good to have similar things, but saying that it's like for competition's sake, and it's like not really.
Not really.
But whatever. That's a separate tangent that we don't have to talk about. But like,
Yeah.
It's weird. Sonic Frontiers, from what we've seen, is weird. We haven't really seen anything of the actual gameplay.
Mm-hmm. The environments do look like they'll be fun to traverse.
That's the tricky thing, though, is that, like, they look very not Sonic-y. They wouldn't be how I would design an open world environment in a Sonic game. They look very, like, normal.
Yeah.
And there's not a lot of interesting level geometry going on that feels like it would benefit from Sonic's movement, and that's a little disappointing. Is that if this was like the big open world momentum focused Sonic game like everyone wants it to be, we wouldn't be seeing any flat ground anywhere. There would be like bumps and divots all over the place, and even like there was a shot of like a big dense, very like Breath of the Wild thick forest. That would never be in a game like this. I just don't know how it would work unless you straight up like bowl down all the trees.
I could see maybe some precision movement through a forest being interesting.
Yeah, but I think that it would have
good.
it would have to be designed in a very specific way. And it didn't look like that the forest that we saw was designed any more particularly than, you know, just a regular paced open world game forest.
Mm.
And I think that's really why the ball is in Sega's court right now, is that the more that we learn about this game and how it plays, the better off we're going to be. It's definitely an exciting new game concept, but like they really gotta deliver.
I feel like I'm not as picky in regards to what I've seen, just because I keep trying to think about it, and I can't see a reality where this game comes out and Sonic doesn't feel at least a little fun to control, because I don't think they'll be willing to do it. I think if they just slapped like Unleashed or Generation Sonic in there, they would hate it. I don't think them as devs could do that, just because they've always designed Sonic's controls for the needs of what they're trying to do.
Yeah, I'm just being very picky because like when I look at the level design and I think of what's there, it doesn't feel like it's going to be any more compelling than like Sonic Lost World with that game's kind of parkour, where it doesn't look like you will be necessarily able to like run up walls in a way that feels intrinsically natural in the 3D Sonic toolkit, where like you point yourself at a wall and if there's a slope, you run up the wall. And that's it. And that's like the adventure style way of how you would do that. But it could be wrong. Like I could be completely wrong. It could just be a very like modern next gen Spider-Man-y method of having parkour where Sonic will just run up any kind of wall, level design notwithstanding, and he'll just go where he has to go, and as long as you have the speed, he'll do it. And like that's a very powerful moveset to have, and they could do it. I just don't know if that's what they would do. Like that's very, very different from anything that they've done before. I would like it. I just have to be put in like I have to be shown that they're willing to do that, basically.
Yeah, we just haven't seen enough.
Yeah.
On that front, the thing that worries me more is how diverse the game's locales are going to be.
Yes, definitely.
Because you mentioned like the world that we've been shown and whether or not it is a world or the world. That really bothers me. That thought really bothers me. I really want to know if we're just seeing one of the islands, because they've mentioned that this game takes place in a setting called the Starfall Islands, and there's multiple. We don't know if what we've seen is the Starfall Islands, or one island at the Starfall Islands. I'm hoping it's the latter, and I really want to see some variety in the locales and the terrain and visuals in this game. That's what I want, because I will get bored. I will get bored of the visuals the longer I have to be there.
Yeah, I do feel very confident that it is it is just the one location that we've seen so far. It is not like all of them. We've only seen the one location, and it's just a matter of how different is each one going to be, because the setting is apparently some kind of cyberspace. Like that theming it plays into the game on some major level, because we know a little bit about the very loose plot synopsis. So I'm wondering if all of the islands are just going to be completely different, because if you're just going through a digital space, like, of course that's what they would be.
Right.
And that's kind of what I'm leaning on and banking on right now, is that so far all of the environments look like they're from the same one location, and it's just one very big game world.
That would also be like a really good sign if we learn that that's the case, because that would tell us a lot about the scope of a single island in this game.
Yeah, and they've also said that it's an open zone game and not an open world game, and that's a very Nintendo thing to do, because they considered Breath of the Wild to be an open air game, because you're spending so much of the time with the paraglider just going wherever you want.
True.
And this being an open zone game reads to me as there's multiple zones, as is typical in a Sonic game, and each one of those is itself an open world, and that's what that means.
Right. That sounds almost... This is just fresh in my mind because you played it a little bit ago, but it's almost kind of Lego Dimensions Sonic-y. Not in the way that game does have like a whole big open map, but like in the sense that it has all these sub-levels that are based on zones from different Sonic games, and if those were a little less linear.
Yeah, I just think that all of the different areas... Oh, okay, I know what you mean now. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I thought you were talking about just the fact that the bigger 3D hub area just has a bunch of different zones smushed together. Because I'm thinking that wouldn't be the case in Frontiers. Right. I'm thinking that each zone would be its own separate open location, and then you travel in between each one, just not necessarily freely.
Exactly. So it would be like how you can go to entire sub areas in Lego Dimensions in the Sonic world that are just specifically the zones sectioned off into these platforming challenges and the like, and other kinds of challenges, except that those were bigger and not linear.
Yeah.
But that same sort of like semi interconnectivity where they're not directly related, but you can freely go between them.
Yeah, definitely.
That's what I would hope. That's kind of my big expectation, my big want. If it doesn't meet that expectation, I'll be a little more sour on it. Right now I'm still pretty excited.
Right.
Other major things that have come up since the reveal, but not in the reveal. We learned that Ian Flynn is doing the story writing. And
yes, we did. Woo.
Did we learn if he's doing the dialogue specifically, or if he's just doing plot writing?
I think we just know that he is writing.
Okay. That's all we know. So he's doing non-specified writing, which hopefully means character dialogue and plot writing, like he has been doing for the comics.
Yeah. That's also... Yeah, I assume that at the very least, if he's not writing the scenario, he's writing the dialogue.
Mm-hmm. That's a huge deal. People have been wanting Ian Flynn to be writing for the games for, at minimum, a decade.
Yeah.
Like a long time.
Yeah, absolutely. It is very nice to finally have synergy with the best of the Western Sonic brass with the people making the games in Japan.
On that note, it's a little disappointing to know that T-Lopes worked with Tomoya Otani on the trailer music, but will not be involved in the game soundtrack as far as he is declared.
Yes, I also agree that is a little disappointing, because I think we both agree that Otani's music feels like it's stagnated a little bit with the past couple of games.
Mm-hmm.
And having that kind of kick that T-Lopes has would certainly help. I just hope that the music in the trailer is not necessarily reflective of the full direction that they go in with the final game, because
that too.
it definitely doesn't feel Sonic-y. That's kind of where I'm at right now, is that the environment and all of the set dressing that they're doing right now doesn't necessarily feel Sonic-y in a way that feels like it clashes, in a way that I'm not sure is deliberate, and that's kind of the scary thing, because they've managed to pull themselves out of the Sonic Forces Lost World identity rut, where everything just kind of looks bad, but they might have pulled a little too far in the opposite direction, where they're past Sonic Unleashed and its kind of heightened reality visual design, and they've just kind of planted in like something that kind of just looks like Unreal Engine.
Yeah, it from what we've seen, it's only like mildly surrealist.
Yeah, it needs to. That's also part of why I'm a little upset that the environments that we've seen so far aren't more interesting, is because you kind of need them to be in order to feel like Sonic places.
Mm-hmm.
They kind of just need to feel like roller coaster. Not even levels. Like there's just roller coasters coming out of the ground. That's kind of what it needs to look like, is that the ground is just very bumpy and it's very up and down, like everything's just a big road, a big crazy road.
Yeah. Like if you mushed Speed Highway and City Escape together into a grassy plain.
Yeah, basically. Because that is what Sonic Unleashed did best, and that's why it sticks out as such like a strong case of what it feels like to be a modern Sonic level. And they followed that up in Colors and Generations too. So like the baseline exists. I think it's the art direction. Right now we're at the point where it's basically just the art direction and not the technique, and that's a good thing. That's a better place to be.
I agree. Other minor thing, we know the current voice cast is still in place. Roger Craig Smith, Cindy Robinson. I am blanking on Tails' voice actor's name. Mike Pollock.
Is it not Colleen O'Shaughnessy?
I just can't remember. I can't remember if she is current game cast or if it's someone else.
Yeah, I also don't remember, because I'm pretty sure she came back. Like it was said that she came back for Colors. Ultimate. And she's voicing Tails in the movie, so I don't.
Right.
Is it Kate Higgins?
Kate Higgins would be the other name that makes sense to me.
Because I feel like Kate Higgins is an older voice for Tails, so it would be just Colleen, I think. We do research, folks.
Live we do research. Let's see. Kate Higgins is listed on Sonic News Network, a fan wiki, a great source to pull from, as 2010 to 2013, 2021, and Colleen O'Shaughnessy listed as 2014 to present. I'm not certain necessarily what that means. I would guess that Colleen O'Shaughnessy is Tails' current voice actor for this. Yeah,
that's what I'm assuming it means, in that I got the names backwards, is that Kate Higgins was Tails' voice in Sonic Colors, and then they brought her back to reprise her role and record new lines for Colors Ultimate, but Colleen is the current voice, so she does all the voices for Tails and any of the modern stuff in the movie.
That would make sense. So, yeah, the current voice cast is sticking for this game, which, I think you all know where we are on that, but, it's a very neutral thing at this point.
Yeah, it's only really upsetting because having a new voice cast for Sonic is very emblematic of a change in vision.
Yeah, it's like changing the guard. Franchise.
Yeah, it's putting on a new set of bed sheets, so to speak. Not that the old ones are particularly bad. It's just sometimes you just need a change of scenery.
Had them for 10 years,
Yeah,
it's a long time to have the same bed sheets.
Yeah, and the crazy thing is that this is not a typical routine thing in a lot of media. They don't do this with a voice cast, and it's kind of not great that they did with Sonic in the first place, but I think it did reflect the way that the franchise was evolving at the time and how it was changing. And you know how the fandom loves to put labels on each quote unquote era of Sonic. And I feel like, if nothing else, the changes in voice cast were the best ways to define that and mark a difference in scope and direction of the franchise in general in a way that felt very palpable. So it kind of feels like we were so close to having that kind of experience again, and then they just kind of took it away, and that's a little bit upsetting. I'm glad that everyone is still getting work and reprising their roles. It's just that I really would have liked to hear a new take on the characters, because I don't know, I still don't feel like we're at a point where it's like these characters are voiced as well as they could in English.
No, I agree. The only qualm I have with the current cast as people is that Mike Pollock has really been showing his butt lately in the last like year to year and a half on Twitter. Not in any like political ways, more in glaring personality flaw ways and possessiveness over his character, which has not been great. The other thing that I feel like I should mention, just so we're putting everything on the table, so everyone knows, a lot of the changes in voice cast for Sonic happened because of union reasons or disputes over pay, which are like big deals, and it's easy to have like a much narrower view over the change in voice casts by leaving that out and just looking at it purely as Sonic Team or Sega wanted to make a change, wanted things to be different, there was fan outcry or whatever. Like, that's never the whole story, and there's more of people's livelihood involved than there would be if it was that way, where it didn't involve union and pay stuff.
Yeah, definitely. That was definitely the case in I'm trying to remember, because there's like a push and a pull with why they replaced the Dreamcast voice cast for the 4Kids cast back when they were running Sonic X. And I've seen people say that it's because it might just be me. I might just be getting my wires crossed a little. That it's because that they wanted the consistency with the anime, or because of union reasons, which Ryan Drummond has been vocal about this in the past. And I know he's especially talked about it in reference to more recent stuff like Sonic Generations. They reached out to him to get him back, and he was going to do it, but they didn't want to pay, Sega didn't want to pay his union fees, so they let him go and brought back Roger.
Yep.
And it sounds like that's kind of a recurring thing with Ryan Drummond and Sega, where everyone wants him to voice Sonic again, but Sega doesn't want to pay the union fees. Like,
everyone, including him.
Yeah, everyone, including him and including Sega. They want him, but they don't want to pay his union. And that's the draw.
It's a regular problem with, I mean, a lot of industries in the US that make media, and presumably in Japan also, or at the very minimum, Japanese industries working in the US and working with people in the US. But it's certainly a huge issue in the gaming industry. Most games with voice actors do not have union voice actors.
Yeah, it's...
You know about this a little bit just because your interest in Final Fantasy VII Remake led you to learn that the voice cast changeover for that game's production, for the English voice cast, was also motivated by union reasons.
Yes, which is very funny. Okay, never mind. I just put the pieces together in my head. So I am figuring that a lot of the old cast was not live action actors, but primarily voice actors, and that is why most, if not all, of the new cast is live action actors. Like Brianna White, the voice of Aerith, I know has done some TV work, but being Aerith was like one of her first like big breakout roles. I know Cloud's voice actor. He did some stuff on Teen Wolf, which is a little funny.
That is a little funny.
Those are the only two I know offhand, but I do know that there is a through line of them doing, live action work, and you could definitely tell in their performances they are very, very good voice actors.
Mm-hmm.
And it sucks that the old cast was let go for union reasons, but I do, like, full disclosure, I do greatly prefer the new voices. I think they do a really, really good job, and part of that is the bias because that was, like, my first experience with these characters having English voices because I wasn't familiar with the English voices prior. But they do like a very, 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 very good job. So, like, I feel like this whole conversation is always so difficult because I know that with voice actors, it's a very, I don't want to say touchy because that feels very demeaning,
Mm-hmm.
but I know that voice actors want to keep their roles. Like, if they want to leave, they want to leave. That's one thing, but a lot of the times they want to stay on their roles if they enjoy doing it. And it's unfair to remove them from that role for reasons that are outside of their control or shouldn't be a factor, like a union.
Yeah.
But at the same time, for the sake of that, for the sake of the given creative work, sometimes it's nice to just have a different viewpoint. Well, not viewpoint, like a different kind of approach to the voice that makes having a different voice actor valuable. So I guess that's the difference between, like, okay, well, if a character is going to have a legacy voice actor and, like, they are associated with that character and they are them, that's one thing. But, like, if they leave the role on amicable terms and everything's fine and they get a different person, or even if they flip-flop, I think that's also perfectly fine if they wanted to do that. Like, that's what a lot of animated stuff do when they're like
Right.
flip-flopping around between.
I was thinking about that a lot. I think of the multiple different adaptations of Spider-Man.
Yeah, Spider-Man, Batman, a lot of superhero stuff that gets, like, a lot of different direct-to-TV media. You see it a lot with Marvel now because there's a very clear divide between what's coming from the MCU studio and what's not. So everything in the MCU studio, they have all those actors, like, by contract. They got them by the neck. So they could just pull them into whatever weird thing that they want to do. And that's why you get What If, where literally almost all of the original live action cast returns in this animated show. But you have stuff like the things that air on TV where that doesn't happen and they get your usual animated voice cast to do stuff like that.
I wanted to mention, with you remarking, like, this subject being difficult in regards to talking about voice actors and unions and how voice actors are let go for poor reasons, but how it's also nice to have voice acting changed up sometimes. I feel like that's just a very human reality of this kind of subject or any subject like it, where whether or not we develop preferences for these kinds of things before or after we're informed about the kind of person harmful realities of them behind the scenes in terms of industry actions and how people are treated.
Yeah.
For their positions, for their roles. Like, we still have those preferences. We develop them very easily. And I don't know if it's worth denying those preferences. It's just very, very good to be aware of the circumstances regarding voice actor change-ups, artist change-ups, studio change-ups, any sort of thing that happens in the industry that's more often than not marketing, brand, or profit motivated. Those kinds of things. It's the difficulties of being adult and being aware of the systems we live in.
Yeah, I think the big thing is that Sonic is a franchise that has become predisposed to having a cyclical voice cast, and
Yes.
on unfortunately not great terms, but it is what they have opened the Pandora's box and have given people the very easy ability to have preferences for how they like these characters to sound. And with all of these different approaches to the same characters, it also opens itself up to like, oh, well, I think this person would be a very great fit for this character. And you see that a lot, especially with Sonic. You've been seeing that a lot.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people rallying behind Ben Schwartz because Ben Schwartz has a very natural voice that fits Sonic's kind of character. You hear a lot of things coming from just a lot of different characters who have that kind of hot-headed personality that would fit Sonic. And people make like fan animations and they dub over, or they use those characters' lines, those voice actors' lines, as like a way to dub over Sonic to like prove like, hey, this would be a fitting voice for Sonic. So like people do this all the time. People will do their own takes on Sonic's voice and do that just like and post it. So like it's a very natural thing for this franchise, and like it is also a very English thing for this franchise because the Japanese cast has seen very few changes. I'm pretty sure Sonic has never seen a voice actor change in Japan.
Yeah, if you want to get technical, he has, but ever since Adventure onward, he has not.
Yeah, and that's when it counts. So
yeah, the most they've had is that their voice actor for Eggman passed away. What was it? 3-4 years ago, something like that.
Yeah, it feels
or maybe
like
even more recently.
Ago.
Yeah, it was not too long ago. It was within the last handful of years, and as far as I know, that's the only shakeup to the Japanese voice acting cast for Sonic the Hedgehog that I've heard about.
Yeah, definitely.
And they managed to pick someone else up who performs the role about as adequately from what I've heard. And I'm not a native Japanese speaker, nor am I very like already particularly versed in Eggman's voice in Japanese, but I could hear them as like very similar. So
yeah,
they've been doing pretty okay, I guess is what I'm getting at. Another thing there is that like culturally, this is definitely more of an American thing because in general, not just with the Sonic franchise, Japanese voice actors hold on to their roles with a vice grip. I don't know if that's
definitely
on their end or on their employer's end or both, but like little things, how like the voice of classic animated cartoon mascot character Doraemon has had the same voice actor for decades at this point. Literally since 80s, 70s? I don't know when Doraemon happened first, but like in that realm, like we're talking 40, 50 years of playing this character. That's really unheard of here. We don't get that. One of the closest things we have is Charles Martinet as the semi voice of Mario for more than 30 years, or not more than, like almost 30 years, because like he does do full voice acting for Mario sometimes, but not recently. He's very much just the person who gets in the studio and makes some fun short voice clips and exclamations and grunts and other funny sounds for him. And that's that. He has the role, and he'll have it for probably forever as long as he's alive. And that's real. He is a real voice actor, and he is really the voice actor of Mario. But it's still different, you know? He's not going out there to record whole scenes as Super Mario in the same way that most Japanese voice actors for animated media, for games, do that for decades.
Yeah, like if we want to split hairs, he kind of does that, but it's like he's not doing it in any games or any like animated media.
That's what I mean. He does it in like live venues.
Yeah, and now with the movie, he's basically been walled out of doing voice acting. Like, I'm sure he'll have a role in the movie, but it's not Mario, and that's the important thing.
Mm-hmm. Whatever role he has, it's just not... It's not going to be what people wanted with him.
Yeah, it's not going to be an adequate enough role to pay respect to his role.
So to circle back around to Sonic, though, like, that ties into why it's very normalized for us as long-term Sonic fans to expect a voice cast changeover.
Yeah.
And we're not getting that.
Yeah, we're not getting that. So
the other thing, because I think all of that stuff with the voice cast returning was confirmed by Cindy Robinson, Amy Rose's voice actor herself, right before she mentioned that it's her voice as Amy in the Sonic Frontiers trailer at the very near the end, when a for a while unidentifiable or unidentified voice said something to Sonic.
Yeah.
That's Amy Rose. We know the first voice is Tails and the second one is Amy.
Yeah.
Just in case anyone hadn't heard that from any other sources yet. It's kind of it.
Well, wait. Because this is news to me.
Oh, it's news to you? I didn't realize.
The first voice is Tails and the second one is Amy?
I believe, because the first one sounded like Tails to me, but the second one did not sound like Tails to me, and I thought that's where the confusion was for people for a while.
No, I think the confusion is that the first one does sound like Tails, the second one doesn't. However, there's what's it called? There's the closed captions on the video that state that both are Amy.
Oh, well, never mind. Then it's all Amy.
Yeah, I think it's all Amy.
Okay, so that might have been my bad. I was making some jumps there.
They did confirm in the same live stream that they confirmed that the voice cast was back, that Tails is there, probably in a Freudian slip, but yeah, right. Tails is there. I don't think that's him, though.
Okay. So yeah, Amy's in the game as some kind of disembodied voice at some point, for whatever reason, for any duration of the game, based on this trailer.
Yep. I'm very curious to see where this goes, because there's also cross-conflicting information about, like, what is happening in the game a little bit, because, like, based on what we've heard, and also from the plot synopsis that, like, I guess wasn't supposed to come out, but, like, did through official venues, is that there's an AI called Sage, which is very funny if you know your Sonic fan lingo, that is an Eggman AI gone rogue, that you would think would be the thing that is talking with Sonic, but apparently it's not. Like, apparently it's just Amy, and I think that's the really weird thing going on.
Yeah, we don't know what's up with any of the other characters in the story yet.
Yeah.
Nothing.
I certainly hope some of them are playable.
Yeah. I'm at a weird point with this game right now where I'm not going to die if they're not. It'd be really nice to get other playable characters, but I am for once very excited at the thought of them maybe not hopefully perfecting, but like really synthesizing something really good for how Sonic controls in a 3D Sonic game. And yeah. I think that's been, in the way people who are outside of the fandom bring up the Sonic cycle a lot, people who are inside of the Sonic fandom bring up a lot that people keep thinking the next 3D Sonic game is going to be the one that figures out his control good, like when we only know a little bit about them.
Yeah.
I feel that more strongly now with Frontiers, just because it's open world, and I talked about that earlier. Like, that's the only reason I need to feel like they're going to try something that will feel different and hopefully better.
Yeah, no matter what, making a big open world game like this is probably one of the most ambitious things that they've done with this franchise. Just in terms of the scope of the game, I really don't know how they got the budget for this in years. This is definitely a bigger project than Lost World. It's a bigger project than Forces, absolutely. It's probably a bigger project than Generations.
I would put it on par with like Unleashed, to be honest, given how the devs of that game have talked on end after its release about how much work they had to do for the scope of the daytime levels, how long those levels are, how big they are.
Yeah.
That kind of thing.
Yeah, I'm reserving putting it on that level because I don't think we really know for sure yet, but it definitely feels like in order to make a game of this magnitude, you need more budget than I think a lot of Sonic games have had in the past 10 years.
Yeah. God.
And if they're getting it, then that's a big deal.
Yeah, I hope so. I really hope so, because I could see them having managed to secure a bigger budget just for the game concept and for I don't know. I don't want to assume how much of I don't want to assume much about how Sonic Team operates behind closed doors and the like. But the way they talked lately, the way that key members of Sonic Team have talked publicly about the Sonic brand in recent years has been very like, we're aware that people's perception of the brand has been going down because of quality of some games. Like we're weirdly candid about how we're aware of this. And if they brought that kind of tone to like investor meetings or whatever, I wonder if that might be the sort of thing that could have also put them in a better place to make a game like this.
Yeah, I think so. All of this is just make me think that they gotta pull Sonic out of Japan. They really gotta. I think they are.
Yeah.
I don't know if we know for sure, but they really gotta stop developing Sonic games in Japan. Like, it could still be the same developers, they just need to not do it there, because that is not the audience that they need to be looking for.
Yeah.
And they're not going to get a budget from the people who, the games that they're not making, the people that they're not making the games for. They're not going to be giving them a budget for that. And I don't know how hands-on Sega of America is with its games division, but clearly a lot of the big Sonic heads that have made the biggest, most memorable, at risk of sounding xenophobic, I guess. I think a lot of the heavy hitters in Sonic production in general are not coming out of Japan, and like I said, that's just because that's not Sonic's audience. Sonic's audience is basically everywhere else in the world.
I mean, yeah, that's true. I think also just the people who are working on Sonic in Japan right now are just not as passionate as a lot of the like used to be fans, now developers that are working with Sonic stuff, or now developers, now artists, now professional workers who are invested in Sonic, who are working on Sonic stuff in America now. It's just a completely different tone.
Yeah, and it really is all over the world. It's because there's people in Europe who do it, like Christian Whitehead's, I think he's from Australia.
Yeah, he's from Australia.
There's just so many different people from all over the world who really care about Sonic, and I only really know about the American demographic because I live here, and I know enough of the history to know that Sonic was always meant to appeal to an American demographic. And some of the most striking Sonic games came from when they really got out of their comfort zone and started traveling all around the world. Yeah. And they started meeting like very interesting people who would help them work on the games. And they need something like that if they really want to keep putting the games at the forefront of the franchise, because they don't have to. They really don't. That's like a completely viable path that we talk about it a lot, but it really truly is just a completely viable option for them to just not care as much about the games, and it'll be okay, because I think everything else about the franchise is in such a good spot right now with the people who care about the franchise that they could do that and it'll be fine. Sonic is more than just video games, and he always has been, and that's why the fan base is so strong. So like, if they really can't pull that through with the games, they really don't have to worry about it that much, and they could just be a little bit more lax about game production and even pass it off to people who care more, making smaller scale productions, and build it up that way. And that's probably the smart way to go, to be perfectly honest with you. But
I can't think of like how many times this has actually happened in recent years, but I know that big game developers like Sega and like Capcom and others have worked with indie teams before to take their projects that are based on their IPs and give them budgets, promote them, publish them. This has happened before. The only thing that's coming to mind really is Street Fighter Cross Mega Man, the Mega Man Street Fighter crossover, go figure, fan game from quite a while ago that was kind of semi-contemporary with like late Street Fighter 4, that game.
Yeah.
Street Fighter Cross Tekken was more contemporary with that. And that game wasn't sold. It was still freeware, but it was published by Capcom. They picked it up and were like, hey, we'd like to have our name on this. That's really cool. I think devs should do that more often. And if Sega and Sonic Team ever took a backseat to Sonic as a game's first brand, that would be a great thing to see them do. Not just because there are a lot of quality fan games out there, but there are a lot of quality fan games out there that would be even better if they were given a little extra budget from official sources.
Yeah, I mean, Sega's no stranger to that. Streets of Rage 4 exists. They didn't publish it. They didn't have to.
True. And wasn't that that Streets of Rage parody Yakuza small game, wasn't that also fan developed or like indie developed? It was really small.
I believe so, yeah.
So like, yeah, Sega has experience in that.
Yeah, it's strange because I guess on some level Sonic is their baby, but like he's super not.
Uh-huh.
I really don't know why they don't do that. It makes too much sense for the games, I think, to try and do that. Like, if the worry is that there would be fewer like big AAA Sonic games, they're not doing that to begin with.
We didn't have any AAA Sonic games the last 3 years.
I'd say the last 10.
Well, yeah, true. I just meant that like they haven't put out any Sonic games in the last 3 years, except for Team Sonic Racing, which I wouldn't put on the same pedestal as Forces and Mania, or really Forces specifically, because I guess when I say AAA, I don't mean like proper true AAA development. I just mean a heavily simplified definition that boils down to a 3-dimensional action game that people expect big things from because it's
the big
title.
New mainline game. Yeah,
and like we haven't had that, and there was a gap between Forces and Lost World, and there was a minor gap between Lost World or not minor, there was a kind of equal gap between Lost World and Generations. It's just that we had Sonic 4 Episode 2 and other little bitty things. The point I'm trying to get at is that Sonic has already been taking a break games-wise, and has not been pumping them out every year, which is great. Has not been trying to make big experiences often for us lately. So like it they're not that far off already.
Yeah, I hope that this game is the big shift that they are claiming it to be. This episode didn't turn out to be as much of a retrospect episode as we thought it was going to be. But yeah. I think we ended up talking about important stuff anyway, and I think it's always better when we talk about important stuff than staying on script necessarily. Yeah.
I mean, I type up notes so I can remember of things I want to bring up, not because I think of it as like, okay, I have to hit this beat and this beat and this beat. Like I was going to have a little bit of housekeeping for like other year in review type stuff. I could still, but it feels kind of a little tonally inappropriate. So just Sonic Prime exists. We don't know anything about it still. Like not anything really. Sonic Origins will exist. We still don't really know much about it either. They're out there. Look forward to 2022 being a cool year for Sonic the Hedgehog.
Yeah, we always talk about stuff when we learn more information about it, and I think it's probably smarter to do that than to sit and speculate infinitely.
Yeah. Can we have like a little 30th anniversary comic lightning round? Because we haven't really talked about it yet. We've brought it up a couple of times, but like, yeah, only like really minorly. Not in detail. We kept avoiding mentioning specific things because we didn't want people to be spoiled on it yet.
Sonic 30th anniversary comic is very good.
Yeah. It's the stuff. The only stuff.
Yeah, it is the stuff. It has all the character interactions you could want. It paints a very, 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 very nice picture for things that they could do with the classic universe, I guess.
It's really nice to get something, maybe not necessarily character first, but like really character focused, period, in the classic Sonic setting. It's nice to just see all these characters. really the only ones they left out that are like known to be classic Sonic Universe characters are Honey the Cat, who shows up in the free comic book day issue anyway, and the other hard-boiled heavies. Like Heavy King is in it, and that's it. But like, kind of only really need Heavy King.
Yeah.
So like, they really did as much as they could in a several-page story. In a several page story with all of these characters.
Yeah, and on that note, it's actually very interesting that they did stuff with Heavy King by himself, because he feels very Zavok in that kind of way, but it kind of worked out.
I think he's a better Zavok than they're trying to use Zavok for.
Yeah, exactly. That's kind of the cool thing.
And the other thing that I need to say is I've said before on air that our good friend Vert, who is a cool artist who does work for the IDW comics, did all of the pencil work for the main story, Seasons of Chaos. I was wrong. I've been corrected. He did some of it. There you go.
True. There you go.
Put that at the end of my episode. Put that at the end of the episode.
Yeah.
Right as people are leaving the theater.
Yeah. Hand on my heart. I solemnly swear that I will get these facts right.
That's it. That's 2021, baby. It's over. As you're listening to this, it's ending.
Yeah, the Sonic stuff's all next year. What are you doing here? Get out of here.
Get out of here. We'll see you next year. It'll be a lot cooler then.
Yeah, but like, wait a minute. Just real quick. You can find us on Twitter. Twitter.com/LTASonic, where we post all of our new episodes and other stuff whenever we feel like posting. And there's a link to our Discord there. And there's also a link to our Discord on our website, which is ltasonic.card.co. That's CARRD.co. And, if like before you go, if you want to, give us some money because you like listening to us talk for hours, you can go to patreon.com/LTASonic. You give us a little bit of money. It's not a big deal. And you'll get some exclusive content or something. You know the drill by now.
And if you want to check us out individually on social media, you can find me on Twitter at CrappyBlue, where I post my pixel art and other art and music all the time, and it often involves Sonic the Hedgehog.
Yeah, and you can find me on Twitter at Mitsumi Mario, and I don't do any of that anywhere near as frequently anymore.
But it still involves Sonic the Hedgehog.
Yeah, Sonic shows up sometimes.
We'll see you in the next year?
Yeah, we'll see you in the next year.
Happy New Zone.